Second sight. From their dungeon of truth he sits shackled, buying into the reality of the chains that bind him. From his perspective, he only sees the rays of light projecting from the opening high above. Afraid to see that which lies out there, for fear of seeing what they hide from in their world of blindness. And in his submission, no one comes to heckle him in their dungeon of truth. He sits quietly, pensively remembering life before his imprisonment. At the time there were no options, as it was told to him by the blind man. Nowhere could he find safety in a threatening world, everyone an enemy, even those that had befriended him. As he remembered back to his days in the light, he felt numbness, forgetting not only the bad, but the good, fearing to feel for fear of the return of pain and memories. Questioning the prudence of his decision, he looks up toward the light. As the days pass, he remembers the jury that sentenced him to life and darkness, the 12 hooded ones, never looking him in the eye, for they could not see. He, afraid to look in theirs, for fear of seeing the death of their soul, never believing in his vision of a world of truth and peace, scoffing and jeering at the boy with a dream, the boy who could see. Believing was too much to ask in their world of blindness, ignorance, and bigotry. Day after day he wondered if it was better in there, safe from the jeers while kept from the light only he could see. Wishing harder and harder to be free of his chains, he pulls at the shackles only to hear the surreal din of the links that bind him. Wishing harder and harder, he grows discontent, every day pulling one more time only to hear that familiar ring. Wanting to be free, he screams for help, he cries for his freedom, and no one comes. For a time he gives up. Hope is lost and his memories fade. He turns away from the light since it offers only a sense of defeat and the fear that he pled guilty too quickly, selling out his own belief in himself, his belief that he could see. He was so young and had no one to guide him but the one-eyed man in the world of the blind. When he had two, he could see better than the rest and chose not to trust his vision. He questioned his judgment, letting himself be judged by those who could not see. Imprisoning himself in their world of darkness, he is bound by their reality. Regretting his decision more and more, he re-examines the trial in his mind, reliving each detail over and over, resentencing himself again and again to life in darkness, life in solitude. While solitude has its graces, for were it not for his time in the dark, he would not have recognized the strength in the light. Resolving to regain his freedom, he returns to face the light. "I demand to be heard," he screamed louder and louder. "I demand to be heard." At last someone comes to the door. He requests the opportunity to prove his innocence, not their ignorance. For he is older and wiser and realizes not to intimidate through fear of what they cannot see, but to acknowledge what they can hear and feel and smell and taste. It is through the other senses that the blind may see if they are willing to look. Realizing the opportunity he has been given, one that so many never get, he seizes a formidable task ahead of him with determination and fortitude. As he returns to the trial room, a chill runs down his neck, and he is painfully reminded of the echoes of jeers and howls. The gallery is full of those who came to hear the man who thinks he can see. Since in the world of the blind, what is sight? He acknowledges their existence and his fear to himself, receiving strength from it. He represents himself with the one-eyed man sitting close behind. He faces the jury, their visages so familiar, lacking compassion yet lacking judgment. They seem ready to hear. As if to shake his confidence, a familiar voice whispers from the gallery, that same voice that stole his pride so long ago. He turns to face him, and with a look of acknowledgement that the man could not see, he sensed something taken away. It was not his to hold or to keep. His adversary fell silent, respecting his strength, and for a moment he thought he saw. His pride returned, he felt stronger, and then he saw them. Even with the eyes he had never seen them before, smiling upon him, believing in his sight. They couldn't see him. Urging him on, they sat silently, and the blind could not hear them. The prosecution, a representative of their science of truth, spoke of blasphemy and magic, and what he claimed the defendants saw. "What is sight?" he stated. "If we are meant to see, wouldn't we have eyes?" And they did, the man thought, as he saw them so plainly on their faces. They just never opened them. The prosecution continued with fairy tales of lore, mocking sarcastically at the stories that children believed and the lack of evidence supporting the man's vision. The man sat and listened, his hands crossed in his lap. As he listened more intently, his vision began to blur. Once again, he doubted his sight, and his silent supporters began to fade as the disruptions of fear began to return. Reaching deep down inside his existence, he trusted his faith, realizing that in trusting himself, he took the chance to lose it all, only to be sentenced to a life of sight in the dungeon of the blind. He returned his focus to the prosecution as they rested their case, and court was adjourned. Held in his dungeon, he thought through his case as he had for so many years. So painful it was to relive the experience of sitting in solitude. Seeing the window high above, the light still shone through. Kept from the light, he longed for his freedom, and he slept. Awoken by the clamor of his jailers, he readied himself while they jeered at him from outside his cell. Striving hard to shake his confidence, he saw their ploys, and it gave him strength. He returned to his seat to face the judge and jury, who sat skeptically and defensively, and he spoke. He spoke of science and the advances of technology and how it served them well. He spoke of the pride they should have in their accomplishments and the strength of their armies. They listened intently, their skepticism lost in their arrogance. He spoke of the sounds of children, the smell of spring, and the feel of the wind on their face. He praised their sightless world and saw them smile. He was a friend to them, and they felt it. He knew that if he could love those who tried to enslave him, he would always be free, even if they imprisoned him. He also knew that he had helped them see, knowing that opening their eyes too quickly to the light could scare them and cause them pain, doubting their existence, blaming him for their doubt. For as he spoke, he saw more clearly that he must bring the light to them when they were ready, and the evolution was taking place before his eyes. And he spoke of sight and questioned its existence. Wouldn't it be wonderful to see the sunset? To see the child you were holding? To see the leaves fall to the ground and not just hear them rustle in the wind? Is it so bad to want this for myself and for you? Science has spoken, or has it? We once thought that the earth was flat, that the gods could strike us down at will. To think that we can hear sounds through a box sent from thousands of miles away, that there are other planets and other galaxies. Science had spoken long ago and said it was not possible. I ask you to feel the heat of the sun in your face more intently, to listen more carefully to the falling leaves, to pull your child closer to yourself and feel their touch. For they may have eyes just like you, and they may be able to see as you once may have been able to. Remember long ago and see what is there. And if I am blind, then let me see for myself. Do not call me a fool for dreaming. It is the pioneers of science who were once called fools. Some profess sight and were blinded by the skeptics. I ask you to look deep inside of yourself and challenge what you hear and feel and smell and taste. And I ask you not to judge me, not to believe me, just to hear me and trust that we all can see if we believe in ourselves. And for a moment, a glimmer of light shone in their eyes, and the one-eyed man smiled. Eric Fisher, PhD, April 1995.